Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the lead up to the Australian federal election. Now, they're already, it's only like between 6 away, so people are already on the streets, handing out handbills and flyers and brochures and that sort of thing, and trying to gin up the action. But so I was walking down the main street of the town a couple of days ago, and I was accosted by one of these political street, and handed a brochure as I was walking by, and the operative attempted to engage me in some conversation. Now was she going to talk about policy? Was she going to talk about, what about the looming, food shortages, recover COVID, getting the supply chain back in order, reducing immigration, all sorts of things. There's a whole range of policy matters that need to be discussed at the national level and even at the local level, fixing the infrastructure and so on. But that wasn't it. So her opening sort of, plus when she thought that my attention, her opening sort of gambit was to talk about that the candidate in the area, the local area, the candidate whose grandfather was black, one of his grandfathers was black. That was her opening gambit. So right, that's got to do that. That's relevant. How So that then followed up. So he's obviously committed to social justice and equity. I want to know about that. Why? How's that going to change my life? I mean, what's that going to do with it? How's it going to help the person, my neighbour or the guy in the corner or something? So straight away. But the go-to was straight to the globalist talking point, straight to the globalist script. Not even an effort to talk about, well, what are you interested in, or what do you need, or what would you like to see? Can we talk about our policies? No, straight to Globalist 101. So anyway, the equity there, and then before she'd drawn breath, she was straight into climate change. Again, straight out of the globalist script. So I okay, well that's great. Equity is very important. Equity. Black lesbians. So I said, all right, then will the candidate, if the candidate, the guy gets elected, will he give up his job? In the name of equity, like he's for equity, isn't he? Yes, equity. Oh, he's for equity, and he's sure about that. It's important to me. Equity. Right, will he give up his job to a black lesbian just for equity, just for the equity? Oh no, that's asking a bit much, buddy. So it's all. No one means it. They're not serious. It's just globalist talking points. But the interesting thing is that there wasn't any attempt. Not even a slight attempt to talk about policy, even though I invited her to say, well, I'm interested in policy issues. Climate change. Black lesbians. But they couldn't get away from the globalist script. They just couldn't get away from it. Now it sort of gives you an indication as to how successful the globalist propaganda machine, run by supported and underwritten by the media class, how much they've managed to turn the conversation into straight globalist issues. There's nothing outside of that. And if you want to talk about anything else, or you question it, or you think, well, hey, I'm not sure this works, I've got other concerns, then you're Hitler. That's it. You are Hitler. You are a fascist, Nazi, misogynist Hitler. So they're very, very successful at corralling that conversation. There's only one morally permitted conversation to have, and if you step out of that, you're just morally bereft. And this is I think if you look at the issues that appear to be dominating the very early conversations about even the major political parties, they're all wanting to show how on board they are with transgender bathrooms, or how they on board they are with black lesbians, and and they're all going to do this and that for climate change, zero carbon. So they're just, again, straight. That's all sides of politics, by the way. You may have one side is a little bit less enthusiastic about something than the other, but that's it. They're all fully committed, fully on board with the globalist agenda, and implementing it as brutally and as quickly as they can, regardless of the destruction. And in Australia's case, there's talk about the unemployment's low, but that's crap. There's a massive amount of underemployment and people that are still waiting to go back to work because they've refused to take the jab. So there's a lot of people there, and technically they're saying, well, as those people aren't looking for work, they're not included in the unemployed. So that's sort of just a statistical little sort of acrobatics that they use to imply that the unemployment's down. So they want to bring in a whole lot of this year. They want to bring in a whole lot of migrants. Now they're saying it's only going to be skills that are needed for the economy, but that's utter bullshit. The sort of people that are coming in are dishwashers, people painting nails in manicure salons, either zero skills or very low skills. No, I mind if people are coming in, say, for 3 months to pick fruit or something like. I don't mind that. That's fine. They're students. They come on. They have a good time. They pick some fruit. They make a bit of money. Then they go back to wherever they come from, and nothing wrong with that. But this idea of bringing in masses of people, all of whom can bring in an endless array of relatives. And these are people from third world countries. They bring out the whole fucking village after they get here. So, and they've all got, 50 million aunts, uncles, cousins, and nephews and the like, because the intermarriage is very, very tight in these villages. So they can, the whole village can be brought out. Now, whereas there may be some, not is, but maybe some skills criteria applied to the person that gets the initial visa, but then they can bring out their relatives who aren't required to speak a word of English. They can be desperately reliant on the public health system, and that's fine. There's really no controls or limits on those people. But there are white engineers coming from France or Germany or Holland or here or there. They've got a lot of trouble. They really do have to stringently meet the criteria. But if you're black or brown and you're a literate peasant, you don't have to really meet it. Also, the threshold for being a refugee is incredibly low. Really, just an allegation is pretty much enough to get you in the door, and they're economic migrants. Now, there's they want to bring in something like 160,000, give or take, people next year. But when you add in the students that come and then stay, you add in the people that have got temporary 3-year work visas, but then who become, citizens or permanent residents. You add that in, then it's around 400 to 450,000 in total, and all the relatives and all the family connection or chain migration, as the Americans call it. So there's a vast influx of people. Most of them come to Sydney and Melbourne. There's a half-assed attempt to distribute them around the place, but white people again seem to, in particular, get shoved into the small cities and towns, whereas the black and brown illiterate peasants, they tend to be allowed to stay in the cities. But it gives you some idea as to what the lay of the land is in terms of the federal election. None of the policies that the government are pursuing are what the people want. They're all globalist policies. High immigration, the climate change, critical race theory in the education system, anti-white propaganda. Well, it's all the globalist 101, and all the major parties are doing it in Australia. They pretend to be representing the people, but they're not, and they're making no effort to. So whoever gets voted in of the major parties, then there's only one, maybe two small parties that oppose the globalization thing, but they won't be able to stop it. They may be able to have a very minor, temporary, short-term influence, but even that's unlikely. So, and if they do become a serious danger to the globalist project, magically they'll be little waif girls going, "Oh, he tried to rape me," or there'll be some sort of terrible financial malfeasance that'll suddenly be discovered, and this sort of thing. So if they want to, they can get rid of these people. The entire machinery of state is globalist owned and is directed towards achieving the globalist project. So anyway, that's it. But it was interesting that the people on the street are making no effort to talk about, or that small experience that I had, no effort to talk about policies. They're just talking globalist talking points. You've been with Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for listening.